So next up, we have a presentation from Antilles Gold with the ticker code AAU, a company focused on near-term gold production and copper exploration in Cuba. So to tell us more, today we are joined by Executive Chairman Brian Johnson. Good morning, Brian.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much for inviting me to make this short presentation this morning. Antilles Gold is focused on Cuba, where we're participating in the near-term development of two mines with the total potential to produce around 180,000 ounces of gold equivalent per year. In addition, we control several exciting copper porphyry deposits that we've actually started drilling. Okay, we're often asked why we're investing in Cuba, and the short answer, I've given a few examples. Cuba is mineral rich, it's underexplored, it has low operating costs, and mining royalties are quite realistic. The government is very stable and encouraging foreign investment in the mining sector, and is backed by realistic mining and environmental regulations, and the partnership that we've developed de-risks permitting. It's very important. We have a number of investment incentives, including the waiving of income tax and import duties. It helps the economics of the projects. The foreign shareholder gets to nominate senior management for projects and exploration. And really importantly, one that I negotiated personally, that's not in others' joint ventures, I know, is that all project loans and sales proceeds have to be deposited in a foreign bank. And from there, they disperse directly to creditors, which eliminates the country credit risk. I think a very important element of our JV agreement. We were invited by GeoMinera in 2018 to participate in the development of their largest known gold deposit called Demajagua. It's probably got about 2 million ounce gold equivalent, and half of that is going to an open pit operation. Over the last 5 years, we've developed excellent relationships with GeoMinera, and this has resulted in transitioning from the concept of going in and doing one gold mine joint venture to actually establishing a jointly owned mining company that will develop a whole series of, we hope, gold and copper mines in addition to Demajagua. We've also been granted the opportunity to explore and possibly develop 4 concessions that host highly prospective copper gold porphyry deposits in what will be a majority-owned joint venture. It's a matter of interest. Majors like Trafigura and Melbana Energy from Australia are heavily invested in producing projects in Cuba, and all are known to be looking to expand their projects. I won't dwell on this one because of lack of time, but fundamentally we are chasing 2 near-term projects. One is the Nerva Sabana gold mine, small mine, low capex, produce about 50,000 ounces of gold initially. Second mine, Demajagua, which would produce potentially 100,000 ounces of gold in the doré. And then on to prospecting of what's known as the Pilar Porphyry System in central Cuba, and also 3 concessions in the Sierra Maestra copper belt in southeast Cuba. Well, the first mine that we will develop with a high level of certainty is a Nerva Sabana mine. It's an open pit. It will be developed in the 50-50 joint venture company, Minera La Victoria. We have the benefit of 24,000 metres of historic drilling done by 2 Canadian companies and 10,000 metres that we've completed just this month. We'll establish the MRE for the little mine in January 24. And anybody that's followed our company will know from recent drilling results that we've had outstanding grades for both the small gold cap and the underlying copper. And the copper zone is in fact increasing both laterally and vertically as we have continued the drilling. It will have a very low waste to ore ratio, this mine. The gold zone is outcropping gold from surface. We hope to produce, or expect to produce, I should really say, around 50,000 ounces of a good clean gold containing a good clean concentrate, very saleable, and around 9,000 tonnes. This will be followed by about 9,000 tonne of copper per year in a copper concentrate. The gold probably only lasts for 2 or 3 years. copper 6 to 7. We'll know better when the MRE is produced in January. Very low capital cost for this mine or whole development is only 23 million, including shareholders' equity of 3 million that has already been subscribed. The project funding of 20 million to construct the mine will probably be provided by an advance on concentrate sales by a commodities trader. And we're well advanced in discussions with 3 different parties on that prospect. Timing, scoping study will be completed in February, DFS in April, and the construction 10-month construction period is expected to commence in June 2024. Commissioning will be in around April 25 and will be the first cash flow for the joint venture. And a very welcome site that will be. Well, this is just a shot of the typical concentrator that will be provided by the contractor who will do this for us on a turnkey basis. The second mine that we'll develop will be the Demajagua mine. It's based on a gold-antimony-silver deposit. There was 50,000 metres of historic drilling on this property when we inherited it. We did another 30,000 metres ourselves, and we have an MRE for the open pit of 905,000 ounces gold equivalent. As I said before, probably this will double for the underground, but this is subject to further exploration and definition. The concession is on an island, 60 nautical miles from the mainland, but the site is quite close to a port via sealed roads. It's connected already to water, electricity, and fibre optic cable. No occupancy. There's no people living on the site, so it's a nice, tidy site. The mining will produce 2 concentrates. One is 50,000 tonne of a gold arsenopyrite concentrate, and at the moment 7,600 tonne of a gold antimony concentrate for the 9-year open pit life. But we're working on increasing that antimony concentrate. It's probably going to finish up closer to 10,000 tonne per year, and it's a big earner because antimony is in great demand at the moment. We're going to build with this mine a 2-stage fluid bed roaster and a CIL circuit that have the combined capacity to produce around 100,000 ounces of gold per year. It will process 50,000 tonne of the La Demajagua concentrate, and we will import 25,000 tonne of a gold pyrite concentrate. The reason for the importation being twofold. One, it improves the economics, but more to the point, we need the additional iron units in that gold pyrite concentrate to stabilise the arsenic when it goes to the tailings. The estimated project cost is $145 million. 45 million of that is for the roaster and CIL plant. There's 27 million of shareholders' equity, 13.5 from Antilles Gold, and 13.5 of shares were issued to GeoMinera for the concession acquisition. The joint venture company has decided, and I think we've gone public about this, that we intend to attract a third shareholder, particularly focused on one with roaster experience, and that wouldn't happen till probably mid next year or third quarter of next year, and they would be required to pay fair value for those shares, which will be significantly higher, one would hope, than the $1 a share that we've invested to date. Those funds will go to construction. We also expect to get an arrangement with the equipment suppliers from China for deferred payments, which is equivalent to a loan. That would be supported by guarantees from the China Exim Bank. The estimated life of mine surplus cash is $600 million US. NPV is $330 million at $1,800 an ounce gold. And if we get diluted to 1/3 share from our current 50%, then our estimated surplus cash from this project would be about 300 million Australian from a very low 21 million investment. So good return. Planned construction commencements late 24 with commissioning in mid 2026. We don't need to dwell on this one. This is just a shot of the group who are going to provide our turnkey basis, the roaster. I'll just go quickly on the exploration side of things. We've been granted opportunity to, within an exploration agreement with GeoMinera, to explore what's known as the Pilar Porphyry System in central Cuba. Our own geologists have identified the surface exposure as to indicate copper-gold porphyry intrusives. We have conducted a ground magnetics and induced polarization survey, and that's identified a cluster of 3 porphyries on this El Pilar concession. We've drilling 6 holes into the El Pilar porphyry. 4 have been drilled to date. They've all demonstrated porphyry-style veining and have indicated good copper results, which I'll show you in a second. Drilling will be suspended after we complete the program next month until about mid-2024. That'll allow us time to negotiate the terms of the majority-owned joint venture, probably 75% for us, before the El Pilar concessions are transferred for further exploration and potential development. So these are just photos of surface veining of it indicates the porphyry. You can see on the gold grades here that we've had fairly good copper results. Anything over 1% is very attractive in a porphyry, and you can see that we've had a sequence of events with well in excess of that, but very early days for this project, but great potential. The last of our exploration focus is what it's known as the Sierra Maestra Copper Belt. It has a mine existing there since 1540. You heard right, 1540. It's a long-established mine, copper mine. We've got 3 concessions there. They're a long strike from the existing copper mine, but more to the point, the prospecting that we've done there indicates great potential for copper-gold molybdenum. There are a lot of old workings and rock samples at the surface show it as a great prospect. We will start a prospecting program early next year on each of these 3 concessions. I won't dwell on the people involved, but anyone that has a copy of this can understand, particularly in the management, quite apart from the directors. The management, if you go to the next slide, 2 particularly important directors. Dr. G, who's our technical director, has incredible knowledge of processing for refractory ores, as will be encountered at La Demajagua. And Chris Granger, our exploration director, who's actually based in Colombia, great success in major explorations in that part of the world, and is absolutely wrapped in the potential of our copper prospects and geology generally in Cuba. We won't need to dwell on the snapshot. Anyone who wants to have a look at our very humble share price can see that for themselves. All I can say about that snapshot is that I believe our shares are well and truly undervalued. This is the last slide, you'll be pleased to hear, but our aim in points 1 and 2 is to over the next couple of years, develop these 2 mines that will have between them about 180,000 ounces of gold equivalent per year of production. Obviously, that's shared at the moment 50-50 with the Cuban government's mining company, but that will probably bring us down to about a third. Underground mining could extend the La Demajagua project for around 9 years to nearly 20, and the additional upside for us lies in the potential of a majority holding in these highly prospective copper-gold porphyry deposits. We're expecting that the copper exploration will be funded in part, at least, or by part of the cash flow that will be generated from the joint venture's gold production. But as 2 corporate moves we're working on at the moment, one is the possible investment of a new shareholder for a third interest in Nerva Sabana and La Demajagua, like a third interest in the joint venture company, effectively. And this will assist in project funding and indirectly will establish the value of our interest in these projects, so that maybe people will then start to realise just what value we've got within our assets in Cuba. The other corporate move that we're working on at the moment is the potential funding of the copper exploration that won't be insignificant, and the potential future partial sale of these properties. And that's being discussed with several major mining groups at the moment, but I can't say at this point in time that there is any certainty to those discussions, but that's a direction. But a corporate transaction in either of 6 or 7 points above there will highlight Cuba being an attractive jurisdiction, seen to be backed by majors, and it also reinforced the potential of our assets in that country. So you'd be pleased to hear that's the end of my presentation. I don't know how long I've taken.
Oh, that's okay, Brian. It was a great presentation. We've had a lot of questions come through, but we are running out of time. So just, I think, to wrap things up, what should investors be looking forward to from a news flow perspective over the next 3 months?
Well, news flow, I suppose the most important upcoming is in January, February, to see the value of the very small mine, but very profitable mine at Nerva Sabana. Very little money required from us going forward. So those two announcements will be quite important. The next one will be a few months later when the test work is completed for the roaster CIL attachment to our Demajagua. That'll result in a scoping study once we have those metallurgical test work results, probably April, May. But we're very confident of the results on that project because we've already got indicative capital costs and operating costs from the turnkey specialist engineering group in China that will actually build the projects. So that's fundamentally it. More of the same.
Wonderful. Well, exciting times ahead. And again, if we have missed any of your questions, please feel free to reach out by the contact details on the bottom of the ASX releases. But thank you again for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for watching the presentation. Thank you.